Today, I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from Hollow Knight. Special thanks to Terra Fairy for the team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a Hollow Knight team. Now, I was gonna wait until Silk Song released, but then I would have to wait another year to release this video. So, I'm gonna lead off with my Slugma here for the infection. Now, this team was interesting because I had a lot of bug types, which made it so that I had a lot of weaknesses to this team. It was pretty hard to use, but it was still fun nonetheless. So I'm gonna go for the Fire Blast versus the Snorlax. It doesn't really do too much damage because I figured that the Snorlax might be running a Thick Fat. I'm running a lead Slugma on that team. We do not make Slugma jokes here. So, going into Vikavolt here for the Hollow Knight. So, it was interesting because I wanted to include Pinsir, but like Pinsir's not in this game, so I had to settle with Shiny Vikavolt, which I guess still kind of matches the appearance overall, but like I would have included Pinsir just because it has those sharp Pinsirs, right? So the Pikachu is going to attempt to go for double team shenanigans. Hell no, I am not dealing with no evasiveness stuff. So I have Throat Spray on this. This is an Agility Throat Spray Vikavolt. I have Bug Buzz, Terra Steel with Flash Cannon, and I have Thunderbolt, which I'm going to go for versus the Snorlax. Because of the Throat Spray special attack boost, I end up doing a lot of damage to it, and thankfully I tanked the Body Slam. Now, if you enjoy these Pokemon theme teams, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. My end of the year goal is 1,000 subscribers, which I know sounds like a lot of lovely people, and it is a lot of beautiful, amazing people. Thank you all so much for subscribing to this channel. I really appreciate it, and if you enjoy these theme team videos, then please feel free to subscribe. Now, in comes the Venusaur. This Venusaur was a really big problem, so I wasn't sure what item this was running. They didn't have Life Orb on their Venusaur, so I thought, okay, well, I'm running a Focus Sash Slugma on this team with Fire Blast. It does so much, but unfortunately, it just barely misses the KO. So, this was originally a weakness policy Slugma, which is terrible. I had such a horrible matchup into Glamora, so I really had to have Focus Sash. So into my Phantom for the night, oh my goodness, I just get destroyed by Sludge Bomb. So I was like, okay, this thing is definitely choice specs, because I thought that, you know, I had a chance to live if it wasn't specs. But it does so much damage to my incoming Rabska here for the Dung Defender. It actually does way too much damage for it to be choice specs. Even if it's modest nature, I took just so much damage from that. So, call me crazy, but I think this is a Metronome Venusaur. I'm serious. I think this is a Metronome Venusaur, because when you use the same move over and over again and you have Metronome, it gets stronger and stronger, right? And Sludge Bomb, if this was like choice specs, it was only doing like 40 to 49%. So like, how did it do so much damage? Oh my goodness, it actually does way too much. I'm serious. I genuinely think this is a Metronome Venusaur, which is pretty heat. But there goes the Venusaur. Thankfully, my Rabska was able to take that out with the stored power. I'll go more into this set in the next battle, because this set is actually one of my better Pokemon on this team. And, you know, you won't really expect much from Rabska. Also, you won't really respect it because it's a Rabska, right? So, the opponent is going to send in a Charizard next, and I'm going to send out my Frostball. Now, this is a terrible matchup, so I kind of have to Terrastalize to avoid the Terra Bull matchup, right? So, the Charizard is going to be Stellar Terra, which is pretty interesting. I'm running Terra Water on my Frostmoth. Actually, my opponent was running their own theme team. I wonder if you can guess it. Now, this is a Quiver Dance Frostmoth. I really needed some good Pokemon on this team, because like I said, I had like 4 bug types on this team. So, like, I had, well, actually, I had 3. I can't count. So, the Charizard is going to go for the Heat Wave versus me. I'm Terra Water, so obviously I'm going to resist that. And I'm going to go for the Quiver Dance. Now, I don't have Bug Buzz on this. I have Ice Beam, and I have Terra Blast Water on this. And I have Giga Drain as my last move. And I'm not running any special attack investment. I want it to be as bulky as possible with the Ice Scales ability. So I'm running max health and max speed on this Frostmoth. They're going to go into their Lapras on my Terra Blast Water. I almost called it Terra Blast Fire. Oh my goodness. So, I'm going to Quiver Dance in front of the Lapras. I thought, well, there's not much that they should do versus me. I should be able to set up freely versus this Pokemon and get my sweep going. But they have Sheer Cold on their Lapras and they hit me. Oh my gosh. And because I'm not an Ice type anymore, I actually get affected by it. Oh my goodness. What the heck? So, That really is unfortunate. Oh my gosh. Suddenly things have turned for the worse. But I have an Iron Valiant in the back, which I thought matched Hornet really well, just because, they both have the weapon on them, right? And this is actually a Terra Bug Iron Valiant. It's crazy. So I'm gonna go for the Swords Dance. I'm relying on the sheer cold to miss, obviously, because they're definitely going for it. This is one of the best Pokemon on my team. This is a Swords Dance Iron Valiant with close combat and knockoff, and I have Terra Bug Fury Cutter on this. Amazing. So now I'm gonna take out the Lapras easily with the close combat. This Pokemon is ridiculously strong after a Swords Dance, and I have the booster energy to boost my speed as well. So nothing should really be outspeeding me. Now in comes the Blastoise. I wasn't sure if this was like Shell Smash or like a more defensive the Zapdos, what the heck? If this was a more defensive Blastoise, but they get absolutely annihilated by the close combat. So I'm like, okay, this is good. The last Pokemon is Charizard. All I have to do is hit knockoff versus that Pokemon, and I should be in the clear to win this. But I misclicked it and accidentally hit close combat. What the? You know when you accidentally hit a move quickly? I did that, and that really sucks because they live. But then they miss Hurricane. What? Oh my gosh. You know what? No, never punish. I only make good plays. Never, ever, ever punish. The only skill here. No, I'm kidding. But what the heck? That almost got super shiced. I almost accidentally threw that game, which I've been doing a lot lately. So, like, oh my gosh, that was way too close. That was really funny, though. So, hope you all enjoyed that battle. Into this next battle. This is also a really good battle. So, into this lead Glamora. Now, as I said earlier, Glamora was a really big problem for this team. So, had to rely on my Slugma to help deal with it. So, I'm running Earth Power on this, which absolutely, like, obliterates it almost. It lives. I was wondering if this was Focus Sash anyway, but I'm running a Focus Sash on my Slugma. I have weak armor on this as well, so if I get hit by a physical move, I could be able to increase my speed 2 stages. So I'm gonna go for the Power Gem and take out the Glamora, and Slugma gets a KO. Why do I always get the weirdest KOs with the weirdest Pokemon? Like, I don't get it. So, in comes the Pelipper here. Now, they're going to set up their raid. I figured that, they have a Pokemon that abuses raid in the back. So, I thought, well, I want to go for the Endure, try to stall out the rain turn, see what they're going to do. They're actually going to go for the U-turn here on my Slugma, which is going to give me a weak armor boost, so that's nice. But they have a Pokemon in the back with priority, the Dragonite. So, I thought, well, they're definitely going to bring that in. Now, I was thinking about swapping out versus this Pokemon, like expected the extreme speed, maybe going into my Phantom, but if they set up Dragon Dances, like that was going to be really problematic, really quick. So they're just going to take me out with the extreme speed, and they end up being Life Orb. So I was like, okay, well, they're not boots. They're actually going to break their own multi-scale at the very least. That's nice. So I'm going to bring in my Frostmoth here to threaten the Dragonite with an Ice Beam potentially. And they're going to bring out their Incineroar versus me. I was like, okay, goody. This Pokemon is always like it's always a bulky annoyance to face, even in singles. So I'm going to swap out my Frostmoth versus the Incineroar. I thought, well, I don't want to eat a fire move from this. I could Terrasilize into a water type and go for Terra Blast water versus this, but it's raining, so like I thought I could do that after I get some good chip damage versus this Pokemon, because I knew that it was running a Citrus Berry more than likely. So I lived the Temper Flare thanks to the rain. Oh my goodness, they didn't have Flare Blitz, and I do some huge damage versus the Incineroar with the Bug Buzz. But of course, it has the VGC Berry, so it's gonna recover some of its health. Now, my Rapska was a really interesting set because it only had Psychic moves. At the same time, I thought if I get rid of this Pokemon, then my Rapska has a really good shot of winning me this game. So they're going to take me out there with the Temper Flare, and there goes my Vikavolt. But Vikavolt is actually a really good Pokemon because people expect you to be like Sticky Web lead, but like the agility sweeping set is actually pretty solid. So this turn I thought, well, I swapped out versus this Incineroar earlier. Maybe they're going to be tempted to stay in now that I brought this Pokemon out versus it. So I'm going to go for the Terra on my Frostmoth once again. And I'm going to go for the Terra Blast Water. So I'm like, okay, please take this out. I hope this takes it out because I'm not running any special attack investment. And I take it out. So I'm like, okay, this is really good because now my Rapska is looking amazing in this battle. You're going to see. So the Dragonite is going to come back in. I could threaten this with an Ice Beam, but I'm also going to take a lot of damage from extreme speed. So I'm going to go into my Phantom here. I actually haven't explained this Phantom set. I actually used this set in a previous Steam team, but I'm running the Custap Berry Harvest set on this Phantom, and I have the exact same set that I used last time. I have not Phantom, oh my goodness. I have Poltergeist, Seed Bomb, Endure, and I have Destiny Bond. Now, you know, a lot of the time when I use Endure, people expect, like, you know, Destiny Bomb to come out next turn, especially if, like, an item doesn't activate. So this turn I thought, well, they might Dragon Dance on my expected Destiny Bond, so I'm gonna go for the Poltergeist and do as much damage as I possibly can versus this Dragonite. It's unfortunate because they actually went for Ice Spitter. I could have gotten the Destiny Bond KO, but that's neither here nor there. So there goes my Phantom. Now, this Dragonite was a bit of a problem, so I opted to swap in my Iron Valiant versus this thing. Now, I have a knockoff to deal with this. It was really unfortunate because in a lot of the games, I did not have Spirit Break. Obviously, like, I don't have Spirit Break on this set. I don't have a Fairy move. So, like, it really harmed me because, you know, having a Fairy move on this Pokemon would really threaten a lot of the Pokemon that are weak to it, like Dragon types mainly. So, I'm gonna take out the Dragonite with the knockoff. I'm gonna take off after this battle. I need to eat. So in comes the Dragapult. Now I could threaten this with the knockoff, which I do go for. It does massive damage, but unfortunately it just barely misses the KO. And Dragapult is gonna go for that Phantom Force. They actually had a Dragon Fang to boost their dragon moves. Interestingly, now I had no switches to this, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to sacrifice my Iron Valiant here to the Phantom Force, which I definitely was gonna take me out there. But at the same time, I thought this should be the perfect opportunity for me to set up with my Rabsca here for the Dung Defender. I thought Dung Defender was good for Rabsca just because this Pokemon is actually based on a Dung Beetle. It makes sense thematically. So, the Dragapult is going to go for the Phantom Force. I have Iron Defense on this. This Pokemon actually gets Iron Defense. So, this is one of the stored power sweepers that I always use. I feel like I've been using stored power Pokemon a lot lately, but it's such a good move. And I have Iron Defense, Calm Mind, stored power, and Recover on this set, which I went for versus the Dragapult. The Phantom Force did just over half to me, but I'm thankfully able to tank the hit at the very least. Now, on this set, I have leftovers. I have max special defense on this, as I mentioned earlier, and it's really tanky once you start getting the Iron Defenses and the Calm Minds going. So, going for the Calm Mind. Now, they had a Pokemon in the back that I was definitely very afraid of, just because in rain, it's Kingdra, by the way. In rain, Kingdra is an absolute monster when it has like water type boosted Hydro Pumps, and I figured that they would be Terra Water as well. So I needed to set up as much Calm Minds as I possibly could in order for me to tank the hits from the Kingdra incoming. So they're gonna bring out their Pelipper. They're gonna start to set up the rain. Now I'm gonna continuously go for Calm Minds versus this Pelipper. I wasn't sure if this Pelipper had like Hurricane because it only revealed U-turn so far. So I was thinking, okay, if this Pelipper is running Hurricane, I should be able to tank that, and I should be able to, you know, set up Calm Mind versus it. But they're gonna U-turn out versus me. I was like, okay, well, this turn I didn't go for the Sword Power, but I imagine that they're gonna U-turn right into their Kingdra, which they do. Now, like I said, this Pokemon hits really hard, even after all of the Calm Mind boosts. I was thinking that I might take a lot of damage from this Pokemon, and they are gonna Terrasilize their Kingdra. So I was like, okay, all I need to do is take a hit from this Kingdra, and I should be set to hopefully win in the end game, right? I should be able to tank a Hydro Pump, but they have Liquidation. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting this thing to be physical. Oh my goodness. So Liquidation does a lot of damage to me, but thankfully, that Iron Defense saved me, and I'm gonna take out the Kingdra with the stored power in one hit. That was, oh my goodness, that was really close, but they still have the Dragapult to outspeed me and go for Dragon Darts, and if they critical hit me, then that's really, really problematic. So I needed to make sure that I was able to live Dragon Darts from the Dragapult, but thankfully I knocked off the Dragon Fang. So they're gonna go for the Dragon Darts. I was thinking, please do not crit me, please. And I lived. Oh my goodness, thank goodness that Iron Defense came in so handy in this battle, and I'm able to recover off all of the damage. I feel like people don't expect like Iron Defense from this Pokemon, but like this Pokemon gets Iron Defense. It's actually really interesting. Rellor also gets Iron Defense. It also gets like, I think it gets Cosmic Power as well, but I wanted to run the Iron Defense and Calm Mind because those two moves work very well in tandem with each other. So the Dragapult is gonna go for the Phantom Force. The only way they could take me out is if they critical hit. I unfortunately went for the stored power while they were in the shadows, and they do a lot of damage to me, but thankfully they don't crit me, and I'm able to get off a stored power and take out the Dragapult. I was like, okay, all that's left is the Pelipper. If they have Hurricane, they're gonna have to get some critical hit and some confusions, but otherwise this Rabsca should be in the clear to win this endgame. I just realized a lot of my Pokemon are actually like white colored. I guess that makes sense because Hollow Knight is all the characters are pretty much like white or like that shade of like blue. But all they had was U-turn, and I'm gonna take them out with the Stored Power, and that's gonna be the end of that game. Thank you all so much for watching. Rapska is underrated. Thank you all so much. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.